Hello friends and welcome back. If you're new, thanks for clicking on the video. I thought I'd talk about this topic today. It's kind of been on my radar for a while and it was inspired by a subscriber comment that said, I'm fed up of being gaslighted by social media telling me that I need to date someone with kids because I'm a certain age. And the commenter went on to say that in the end, she found her husband that didn't have kids and she's really happy. And I thought I'd just discuss this, and I completely agree with her. I feel like I just wanted to do my take on it. My honest take is I don't want a baby daddy and I'll never date someone with kids. And yes, by some this will be seen as a rage bait video, but I don't really want it to be a rage bait video. I just want it to be about preferences and my preferences as a female, and basically why I don't want to go down that road. Before, when I didn't feel as confident, and before when I was locked into an algorithm of basically misogyny that I was unaware of, the internet was constantly telling me, you need to settle, you're being too picky, you're waiting for someone that doesn't exist, you're being picky, you just need to settle, you just need to find the right man, and you're not going to find the perfect person on a list. And I can even remember some people that I was dating at the time saying, like, you're being too picky, you're not going to find this man, you're overweight, etc., you're not going to find the man you want. And I kind of got it into my head that I only deserved the leftovers. I got it into my head that I didn't deserve what I wanted, which was a man that didn't have children. And okay, before people just rage out in the comments, I'm not saying that if you're divorced and you have a child that you don't deserve love. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just speaking from my perspective, is that when I marry, I do not want that man to have kids. And I'm going purely on anecdotal stuff from family members that have married and the people have had kids and they've said, don't do it. They've said, if I had my time again, I wouldn't do it. And I'm just personally going through preference and my dating experience. And really the only experience I've had with dating people with kids is that they had zero time for me. I was always bottom of the list. Their child came first. And I completely get it. Obviously, I don't have children, but I get that once you have children, your whole world changes. And I don't want to be bottom of the list. And that's just my honest opinion. I don't want to be someone's last resort, particularly when I was working full-time in a full-time job. I'd want to hang out with these people at the weekend. I'd want to do coupley stuff. I'd want to go out for dinner. I'd want to see movies. And they'd say, I can't. I've got my kid. I can only get my kid on Saturday. And for me, logistically, it just didn't work. It just did not work. Me as a single person without a child, trying to date someone with a child, it just didn't work. I found as well, when I was trying to date people with kids, they tended to be talkers. They tended to be talkers on the dating apps. They were people that didn't want to meet me, didn't want to take me out for dinner, didn't want to treat me with respect. They were literally just talkers, and I felt like I was talking through other people's feelings. Sometimes when you date a man that's been divorced, there's a shame about men going to therapy. So if men need to go to therapy, they don't. And instead they tend to just talk to women on dating apps as like free therapy. And I felt like I was just being a therapist for these men that didn't see me as anything more. For a lot of men, if they're not sexually attracted to you, you will fall into the role of therapist. And this is definitely what happened to me before, like, I got my shit together and started to realize, oh shit, the world doesn't work like this. I was falling into the role of the therapist with a lot of men online and dating apps, and I was literally just being their free therapist, chatting to them about their emotions, talking them down, and they had no interest in me. And I came to the realization when I was on dating apps that for me, at my age, dating apps, especially Tinder is just singledads.com. All you'll find on Tinder at a certain age is just single dads. You won't find men that are looking to settle down. I mean, I used to find people that were like 43 still figuring it out. You're not going to find marriage-minded men on a dating app. You'll just find divorced men, people that don't want to settle down, and broke men. And that's also the thing about single dads. Obviously, if someone was married, then they're going to have no money. Their money, it's going to be split up between him and his ex-wife, and he'll have to pay child support. These men aren't going to take you out to dinner. These men aren't going to treat you well. The only caveat I would say is, obviously, if a man is in that situation and he has wealth, then yeah, he will be able to take you to dinner and treat you right. But this is the thing on dating apps. When you're a woman at a certain age, the men don't want any more kids. They've had their kids and they're done. They don't want any more kids. And this is what I was finding. This is why I think the dating apps don't work, especially if you're a single woman. Because I saw this meme the other day and it said, I did not avoid teenage pregnancy to look after your children. And whoo, that hit home so hard. I don't want to spend my time looking after someone's kids. I don't want to spend my time nurturing other people's kids and helping them grow. If a man has children at my stage in life, I am not interested. I want to date someone that's flexible, that I can go on holiday with, that we have the weekends together. Because deep down, I still feel like I'm 20 years old. I still feel like I have so much life to give and so much life left to live that I don't want to waste my time dating someone that has kids, that has obviously responsibilities, etc. For me, it doesn't work. And I generally think that single dads should date single mums. I'm not saying that people shouldn't find love if they're a single dad. I just think that it works. If you're a single dad, then you date single mums because you have more in common and you understand each other's time constraints. For me, personally, I just find dating people with kids does not work. Full stop. I was tired. I was tired of getting gaslit saying that I'll never find anyone. I have to be grateful for what I can get. And you have to be flexible. You have to be flexible if he has a child. Then you have to be flexible. And I just put my foot down and said no. And that's my preference. And if I don't meet anyone, then that's the choice that I've made, is that I don't want to date anyone with kids. And I'm now starting to think, should I date younger? Because a lot of men my age, I'm just not physically attracted to. They kind of look old and not well kept, not well groomed, and a lot of men sadly do let themselves go. And I'm just generally not attracted to a lot of men on Tinder. And I know I'm aging and I'm not perfect, but there seems to be a disparity between, obviously women have it drummed into us to look as young for as long as possible, but it seems to have not been drummed into men. And I'm just not finding men attractive at the moment. I might speak about that in another video. But for me also, that avoidant part of me kicks in, where I think, literally, what is the point of me getting attached to someone that has kids? Because he's not going to want to move to America. If he has a child, he's obviously going to want to stay with his child and he's not going to leave his child. And I obviously want to go to America, make big money, have new experiences, and live life a bit more. If I'm dating someone that has a child, that's not going to be open to me. It's going to be someone just using me for a while, using me for sex. It's not long term. They're not going to want to settle with me. And I was just fed up and tired, really, of getting gaslit, of the internet telling me I needed to be flexible. No, my preference is somebody with no children, and then we can go on to have children. And this is going to sound harsh, but I don't want to waste my time bringing up somebody else's children. I'm just being 100% and completely honest, and it'll probably just rage the internet. But I generally think if there is someone out there that's meant for me, they will not already have children. And you could probably say on the flip side, well, what if you go on and then you can't have children? Well, that's kind of a bridge I'll have to cross. It hasn't been my fault. I've lived my life as I've lived my life, didn't find the right person for me, and there is nothing I can do about that. There's nothing I can sit and be sad about that. For whatever reason, that person was not on my path. And I've had to think about it. Well, maybe I'm meant to do something different. Maybe my purpose on earth is supposed to be different from being a mum. And I've had to think that maybe I'm just supposed to mother other people through what I'm doing. Maybe me physically giving birth is not going to be the role of mother for me. I just completely agree with this woman's comment, and I'm just fed up of women being just gaslit, telling them that if they haven't found anyone, it's because there's something wrong with them and they don't deserve love, and it's because they're just being too picky and that they should just settle. And especially for women that make a lot of money, there is a lot of pressure on them to think that a male that's successful will not want them, thinking that a male has to have the subservient wife that builds his brand. That is not true for all men. You'll get that for some men that want their female to just help build their brand. You're going to get that for some men, but generally not all men are the same, and some really ambitious and driven men are also attracted to ambitious and driven females. It just depends on what the male wants and what the male finds attractive. And I was just fed up of being gaslit, saying that all I deserved was a baby daddy. All I deserved was a baby daddy, and that I had to house this baby daddy, and just almost this notion that all you deserve is strays of society just because you're older and you haven't found your person. I just got tired of it. That's why I wanted to make this video for women like me. And if your preference is not to have a baby daddy as a partner, that is absolutely fine. And am I saying, if I'm so blind to this, that if I met the perfect man for me, that was handsome, sexy, rich, and looked after me, treated me like a queen, helped me with my business, and wanted to see me progress, but he just had one child, that I would not date him? Obviously not. Obviously there's going to be some kind of caveat to this, and I'm not, it's like when people say I'm not dating someone because they're a Scorpio or whatever. Obviously, if I really met someone and they were amazing and they were really good for me, then yes, I would date them. But am I going into this dating average men on Tinder and saying, yeah, I will date you? No. There's a difference. I think if you're dating a man and they have a child and they can truly elevate your life as in you don't have to work in a job you hate, they respect you, they treat you well, they help you with your business, but he doesn't tick every single box, then I think that is okay. I think that is okay to think, do you know what? Okay. But honestly, just dating people regularly on Tinder straight off the bat, no. It would have to be incredibly worth my while for me to just lose this boundary of, no, I'm not dating anyone with kids. For me, it just doesn't work. I find the men are different. Sadly, the men are kind of jaded. The men are kind of jaded by their divorce. They obviously jaded by women. That's why you'll find a lot of men that have been divorced or have been hurt by women, they fall into the manosphere. They fall down the red pill rabbit hole because it just blames women for their whole situation. That's why they fall down that rabbit hole, is because it lets them take no accountability for their own actions, and it makes them think, oh yeah, women are the problem. I just wanted to be honest, and if you feel the same as me, please let me know in the comments, because I don't know if it's just me beating this drum, but I think this is really common for women. I think women feel that if they are deep down really honest with themselves, they do not want to date a baby daddy because they don't have kids. And that is absolutely fine to think that. And that's why I made this video. So if you're feeling that, just to know that it is okay to feel that. It doesn't mean that you're a bitch. It doesn't mean that you hate children. It just means that you want to go into your marriage with someone that already doesn't have children. And that's absolutely fine. I want to repeat this. There is nothing wrong with that. It does not make you a bad person if you don't want to date a baby daddy. Thanks for watching. Take care.